Hi, welcome to Pajama Story Time. I'm Miss Wendy, and today you're watching a recording of this session from the Storytime room at Manlius Library. So, before we get started, you know the routine. Go find your teddy or your favorite stuffy. You know, my Pooh Bear is always ready for Pajama Story Time. So I'm going to count down from 10 in case you forgot to get your special friend to come listen to the stories tonight. Are you ready? Counting down from 10, go grab your friend and come right back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome! You have your teddy ready to listen? Pooh's ready. Before we start reading tonight, let's get started with our song, Open, Shut Them. Do you have your fingers ready? Open, shut them, open, shut them. Give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, open, shut them. Put them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, creep them, creep them, creep them right up to your chin. Open up your little mouth, but do not let them in. Open, shut them, to your shoulders fly. Then like little birdies, let them flutter to the sky. Falling, 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 almost to the ground. Then quickly pick them up again and turn them round and round. Faster, 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 slower, 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 slower. Clap and put them in your lap. Awesome! Thanks for getting started with us. So, you got your teddy and they're ready to listen? Yep. Awesome. So tonight we're going to read a few stories, and of course we'll end with our favorite Goodnight Moon. But first, let's get started with our first book. And this is a new book at Manlius Library called In My Garden. And In My Garden is written by Charlotte Zolo, and it's illustrated by Philip Steed, and it's made by Neil Porter Books. Wow, look at that. Kind of looks like they used an art media called watercolor. So if you ever used watercolors before, this is what the illustrations kind of look like. In the spring, what I love best in my garden are the birds building nests. I have a bird building a nest in my grapevine in my backyard. Do you have any birds around your yard? Nice. They're fun to look at, aren't they? Of course, there are other things I love in my garden. Red tulips, like a patch of fire under the pear tree, violets and hyacinths and daffodils. But in the spring, what I love best in my garden are the birds building nests. In the spring, what I love most to do is fly kites. Of course, there are other things I love to do, play dolls and roller skate and skip rope. What's this? What does she have under her arm? Can you see that? Yeah, it's a kite. But what I love to do most is fly kites high over the garden wall. Do any of you fly kites outside? Nice. I love doing that too. In the summer, what I love best in my garden are roses. Of course, there are other flowers I love too, marigolds and daisies and Canterbury bells. And in the summer, what I love best in my garden are roses, red ones in yellow and white. You see her roses? So pretty. In summer, what I love most to do is have lunch under the pear tree. Of course, there are other things I love in the summer, listening to the birds singing in the trees, lying in the tall grass, watching the butterflies, and swimming in the cool stream. I like going in the water during the summer too. But in the summer, what I love most to do is have lunch under the pear tree. Look at that. Got their wagon out, packed up, ready to go underneath the tree. And look, there's a birdhouse. Very fun. Looks like a fun lunch, doesn't it? In the fall, what I love best in my garden are the chrysanthemums. I'm noticing something. What happens in the fall with the trees? Do you see what this is? Some leaves. Of course, the other things I love in my garden, the tree turning red and golden brown, and the wild wind blowing, and the squirrels gathering nuts. And what I love best are the chrysanthemums, tangled and shaggy and smelling like spice. In the fall, what I love most to do is rake leaves. Of course, there are other things I like to do in the fall. Buy new sweaters and skirts and pencil boxes for school and pick ripe golden pears from my tree. What I love most in the fall is rake leaves and jump in the big crackly golden piles of them. Do any of you rake leaves and jump into those piles in the fall? We do too. It's great fun, isn't it? In the winter, what I love best in my garden is snow. Little bumps and humps sparkling everywhere you look. Did you ever notice that snow looks so sparkly? Yeah. Kind of looks like little diamonds all over, doesn't it? Very sparkly and shiny when it first falls. Of course, there are other things I love in the wintertime. The purple sunsets and the moon rising early and the pine tree with its branches heavy and white. Look at how the branches are all heavy from the snow landing on it, huh? But in the winter, what I love best in my garden in the snow, clean and white and still. Ooh, what do you think she's doing up here? She's all bundled up, and it looks like she has a sled. What do you suppose she'll do in the wintertime? In the winter, what I love most to do is ice skate on the pond. Of course, there are other things I love to do in the winter. Make snow angels, coast on my sled, and watch the black shadow of the pear tree in the snow. Ooh, look at all the patterns with the ice skates. Kind of curved and curly lines. Very cool. What I love most to do in the winter is skate on the frozen ponds and feel the whiteness and wind and winter all around. Look at that. The scarf is flying behind her. Very cool. I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about all the different seasons, and that is always something fun to look forward to, is the different changes of the seasons, right? So what season are we in right now? Is it winter? No. Is it fall? No. Is it spring? You're getting closer. It's summer. Very good. Another book that's brand new to the Manlius Library, The Someone New. And The Someone New is written by Jill Twiss and illustrated by E.G. Keller. And HarperCollins is the publisher. Someone New. When Jitterbug woke up, she could already tell something was new. Jitterbug was a careful chipmunk. She liked it when things stayed the same. When something was new, she got a little quiver in her tummy. Does that ever happen to you? You get a little nervous about something brand new. You don't know what to do. You don't know how to feel. So your belly gets a little like butterfly feeling. Yeah, it happens to me too. But it's okay. Something new can be a lot of fun, right? Let's see what happens to Jitterbug. What is this something new, she wondered. Is it toast? The butterfly? No, she's flitting from flower to flower, sharing her important thoughts. Hello, hello, shouted Jitterbug. Hello, Jitterbug, said Toast. Did you know that a group of butterflies is called a kaleidoscope? Whoa, that was good information, but it was not that something new. Jitterbug kept looking. Is it Geezer the goose or Daffles and Nudge the otter? She wondered. No, they're splashing in the river, just like always. Hello, hello, shouted Jitterbug. Honk, 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 said Geezer, who sounded grouchy even when he wasn't. Good day to you, Jitterbug, said Duffles. Did you hear the thunderstorm last night? It just, said Nudge. Missed our forest, said Duffles. Whoa, that was good information. But Duffles and Nudge were best friends. They always finished each other's thoughts. That was not the something new. Then Jitterbug saw something she had never seen before. What do you think it could be? Let's see. It was both hard and soft. It was both round and even more round. It was something new. No, wait! It was something new, and the something new was moving towards them very, very slowly. Hello, 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 Jitterbug said nervously. Jitterbug's tummy was doing some pretty big-time tummy quivers. Hello, said the someone. My name is Pudding. Hello, Pudding, said Toast. Did you know that butterflies taste with their feet? Hello, how do you do, said Nudge. Excuse us for asking, said Duffles, but what exactly are you? What is that? Did you figure out who it is? It's something new. After a long pause, Pudding said, I am a snail. I am from the garden over the big hill. Whoa, that was good information. Jitterbug had never seen a snail before. A snail was definitely someone new. Why did you leave your garden and come here? Asked Jitterbug. Pudding did not have an answer right away. If there were one thing Jitterbug had learned about snails, and so far there was only one thing Jitterbug had learned about snails, it was that they answered questions very slowly. Pudding took a breath. Last night there was a big storm and my garden flooded. Everything around me washed away and I was left all alone. I squished all the way here to be safe. I want to be here. Look at that. Everything flooded. Poor snail. With us? Said Jitterbug. In our forest? Pudding nodded. But, said Jitterbug, thinking out loud, but what if there are not enough acorns for all of us? What if everyone decides that squishy snails like Pudding are nicer than furry chipmunks like me? Look at that worried look. Poor Jitterbug looks very nervous. What if everything is different? Jitterbug's tummy quivers were turning into tummy cartwheels. Pudding had just opened his mouth to answer when... Pudding, I'm very sorry for your home, but you cannot stay here, Jitterbug blunted out. Blurted out. Pudding looked at Jitterbug, looked back toward his old garden, and then quietly began to squish back from where he had come. Everything was going to stay the same. Jitterbug's tummy relaxed until... Look at that poor snail. Does he look happy? Was that a good thing for Jitterbug to do? I don't think so either. She looked up and saw her friends. What? What? Said Jitterbug. Did you know I was new once? Sputtered Toast. I used to be a caterpillar. Honk, honk, honk. I was also new once, said Geyser. I used to live in a beautiful lake. Then people started to fill it with garbage until it wasn't safe for me anymore, and that's when I came here. You both were new? Said Jitterbug. It feels like you've always been beside me, honking your honks and flitting around our flowers. That is how friends feel, said Duffles. Even when they're new, friends feel like they've known each other forever, said Nudge. But new can be scary, said Jitterbug. Jitterbug, do you remember when Toast wanted to see her reflection, so she flew very close to the river? Oh, yes, said Jitterbug. Toast flew so close to the river, pretty soon she had flown into the river. She wanted to see her reflection. No one else was around, said Nudge, and you always had been scared of swimming, said Duffles. But even though you were frightened, you jumped right into the water and saved Toast. Because even though new can be scary, kindness is stronger than fear. Wow, that was very good information. I have to go get pudding, yelped Jitterbug. Jitterbug ran as fast as she could, and when she thought she had looked everywhere, she found pudding right around the corner. If there was one thing Jitterbug had learned about snails, and so far there was still only one thing, Jitterbug had learned that they ran away very slowly. Pudding, said Jitterbug. I was wrong. Please, 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 come live with us. I was scared because you are new, and then I realized how scared you must be in a place where everyone is new. You're so brave to come here. Let's be scared together. Thank you, Jitterbug. I will miss my old home, but now I can make a new one with all of you. Look what happened there. There's a sign that says pudding, just freshly painted. Isn't that great? A new home. And Pudding stayed because kindness is stronger than fear. And sometimes it takes very special friends to be brave enough to tell you when they are wrong. Pretty soon it felt like Pudding had been there forever. Look at this. What great friends they are. Isn't it wonderful? So now there are many things Jitterbug knew about snails, and she knew that they were strong and brave and smart and kind. But if there was one thing Jitterbug knew about snails, it was that they were very good friends. Isn't that wonderful? I'm so glad you were able to listen to these new stories with me today. I have one more special brand new story for us to read, and it's called This Way, Charlie, and it's inspired by real animal friendship. So far we heard about Jitterbug and his friends, and let's hear about some more animal friends, right? Awesome. So this is by Karen Levice, and it's illustrated by Charles Santoso. Let me get to our starting page here. Okay. Jack watched the new animals scamper, hop, flap, and trot their way into Open Bud Ranch. Some would stay a short while and others longer. A few might make the ranch their home, like Jack when he needed a safe and caring place to live. Open Bud Ranch had space for all kinds, and all kinds of space to heal, to rest, and grow. Everyone could see that Jack kept his space to himself. Everyone except Charlie. When Charlie arrived, he didn't see Jack at all. Hey, bleated Jack. Look at his face. He's like, hi. Such a great illustration, isn't it? Pardon me, neighed Charlie. Jack could tell from how Charlie swerved this way but not that way that Charlie could only see out of one of his eyes. Antonia explained that once in a while, for different reasons, blindness happened. She couldn't mend Charlie's sight like she had mended the eagle's broken wing or released him into the wild like the possum that they had grown. But she could give Charlie time to see in his own new way. Antonia said everybody deserves plenty of food, love, and patience. By now, Jack knew this ranch had gave plenty of fresh hay, groomed with soft brushes, and always trimmed hooves slowly. Still, he didn't want anything to get too close, too quick, or too loud. So Jack stepped back, and he watched out for Charlie. Charlie whinnied to everyone in a cheerful way, swished his tail and snorted, and stopped to sniff the honeysuckles the same way Jack liked to. He chewed thoughtfully and followed the sunlit patches as if he wanted to get to know the whole place. But Charlie couldn't go very far on his own. Sometimes he bumped in an oops way, not a pushing way. A lot of times he stood still in a lost way. Jack noticed Charlie's eye had a soft glow like the moon, which often guided Jack when he felt lost in the dark. He wondered what Charlie used for a moon. Some mornings, Charlie pawed at a dry patch of dirt. Scratch, scratch, scratch. Hungry, thought Jack, or scared, or maybe lonely. One day, Jack took an extra deep breath of the honeysuckles, in for sweet, out for gray. This way, Charlie, he said, and showed him the way to his favorite field. They grazed and bathed in the sunlight. Wasn't that so nice of Jack? The next day, Jack did it again. This way, Charlie. Jack walked a little ahead and on Charlie's seeing side. He slowed down when the trail got steep, stomped when he reached fresh water, and when it got too hot, he called Charlie towards the shade. Hey, Jack called. Hey is for horses, Charlie called back. Isn't that funny? Soon the next day became every day. Walk, graze, sunbathe, return. Sometimes a quiet little warm milk filled the space between them. And other times, Jack asked Charlie questions about swinging a long tail, about galloping, being so tall, going blind, about bugs, plants, and clouds, about the ranch, the world, and sometimes about dreams. The way I see it, Charlie would answer, and Jack would listen. On the cold and wet mornings, instead of going to their place, Jack guided Charlie to the barn. Charlie would step in, but Jack always stayed out. He wanted to go where it looked peaceful and dry, but his body remembered a different barn from long ago that wasn't calm or kind. Charlie couldn't make the rain or the past disappear, but he could show Jack how kindness moves, sounds, and waits for skies to clear and new memories to take shape. Charlie could give Jack an inside, outside. Boom! Crack! Do you get scared of things you can't see? Jack asked Charlie. All the time, Charlie said to Jack. But the way I see it, that's what a friend like you is for. Friend. Jack chewed the word over and over, like a mouthful of fresh, sweet grass. So nice. As the days went by, Charlie began walking more and more slowly. Then one day he stopped. He couldn't see out of either of his eyes, so Jack moved closer to the center of the path. This way, Charlie. Yes, this way, Jack. They kept walking, one hoof in front of the other, until it felt like Jack's steps were Charlie's and Charlie's steps were Jack. Once, when the other goats went galloping by, Charlie said, "We could play with them today." Jack trembled. "Or maybe with the fawns?" Charlie asked. "Or the new raccoon?" "I can't." Making new friends gave Jack a bumpy feeling. "Let's just say hello. The way I see it." "No, you don't see!" Uh-oh. He's getting really frustrated, isn't he? Charlie was surprised. So was Jack. He hadn't meant to snap. So close, so quick, so loud, and the new kind of quiet filled the space between them, and it felt like a swallow of dry, rotten grass rumbling around their insides. Maybe that's why they didn't notice, but the sky was rumbling too. Boom! Crack! Rain came pouring down as fast and thick that Jack couldn't see Charlie. Wind howled so loud that Charlie couldn't hear Jack, and the trees bent and fell and tangled, trapping Charlie. Jack tried this way and that way, but there was no way in or out. So Jack ran. Jack ran and ran for Charlie. He bleated to all the animals for Charlie. Jack banged at doors, found Antonia, and urged everyone to follow him closely. This way, Charlie! The mud was so thick and the branches were strong, but the whole ranch was working together and stronger. Finally, Charlie was free. Jack led the way inside. This way, friends. Everybody huddled together. Jack whispered, "I'm sorry." And Charlie whispered, "Thank you." The barn filled with all kinds of snores, dreams, and a quiet that neither Charlie nor Jack could see, but both could feel was splendid and warm. Like the sun that rose the next morning, they walked that day, the next day, and every day for the rest of their lives. This way, Charlie. This way. That was great. I'm so proud of the animal friends helping each other out. That was pretty special, wasn't it? Well, friends, get your teddies ready. It's just about time for our last story, the last favorite story of the night for our pajama story time. Good Night Moon. Good Night Moon by Margaret Wise Brown. And here we go. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs, and 2 little kittens, and a pair of mittens, and a little toy house, and a young mouse, and a comb, and a brush, and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady whispering, "Hush." You did that with me. Good job. I love it. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light in the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Oh, you want to see? There's that red balloon, right? Anything else that you see? All kinds of things in the room, right? Yes, that bowl full of mush. Good job. Good night, kittens. Good night, mittens. Good night, clocks. Good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, little mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady, whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. Very nice. Well, friends, that's it for Pajama Story Time. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. Pooh's very happy you joined too. He's saying good night and he loves you too. Remember, good night and I love you. Here's my I love you sign that I want to share with you. And good night and I love you. See you next